Welcome knitters, it's Louise from Wildflower Wool here. And the last time I was here showing you a video, I was showing you how I was knitting these candy canes, and I thought I'd give you a close-up view of how to do it. So if you'd like to whip up a few this weekend, I'll give you a quick close-up tutorial so you can do that. I decided on this one, I added a little bow, but that's optional. You can decide. I'm still kind of, I don't know, deciding if I like it with a bow or without. But anyways, let's get started. Let me give you a list of materials. So if you want to pause this video and go grab some of the supplies and knit along with me, I will wait here while you do that. So what you're going to need are double pointed needles or a circular needle because we're knitting I-cord. So we need to have 2 points on our needles. Straight needles aren't going to work for this. I'm using worsted weight yarn and I've gone down considerably. I think these are a 3.25. I knit really loose, so I always have to go smaller, so maybe a 3.5 would work for you. We want to knit this as tight as possible so that the pipe cleaner is not showing through. So I've got 2 colors of worsted yarn here, a red and a white. Just tiny little leftover bits will be totally fine. I've wound them into little butterflies. You can knit them right from the ball, but it does get really twisty. So I find if you wind into little balls or butterflies, it helps control. You can untangle your yarn much easier than if it's connected right to the ball of yarn. And we need a pipe cleaner. Again, I'm suggesting something Christmassy because sometimes you can see a little bit of the pipe cleaner through on where your back seam is of the I-cord. But there again, probably use what you have to get started and anything will work really. If it's hanging on your Christmas tree, nobody's going to be looking that super close at it. So let's get started. If you want to grab some DPNs, a pipe cleaner, and 2 colors of yarn. And obviously some scissors and a darning needle to weave in your ends at the end. So if you want to pause it here, go grab your supplies. I will wait for you to come back. Okay, so to get started, I've been starting all my candy canes with red. And I don't know why. You can alternate. You can use white, or maybe you're making your candy cane in some really fun colors other than red and white, a non-traditional candy cane. I think they've seen them. There's all kinds of colors out there. You make whatever you think you want to do. We're going to cast on 3 stitches. So leave a little bit of a tail. I just do a slip knot and cast on 2 stitches using the long tail, but you can use whatever cast on method you want. It's just a candy cane. We're pretty flexible in this little pattern. Just get 3 stitches on there. So now, as with any beginning a project, it's going to be a little fiddly to get started, but trust me when I say it really is not that hard to knit once you get the hang of it. I-cord. We're knitting I-cord around our pipe cleaner. So what we're going to do, we're never going to turn our work like normal. But normally we would turn it around now and knit back. We're not going to do that. That's why we need our DPNs. We're going to slide our work back to the right hand needle tip. We're going to pick up our pipe cleaner now. And I'm just holding it up. I leave a little bit of a tail. I'm not trying to get it super close up because that would be even fiddlier. And this is our working yarn. I want to bring it around behind the pipe cleaner. All right. I mentioned it was a little fiddly to get started, but not too bad, right? So just bring it around behind the pipe cleaner. Pick up your other DPN, and you're going to pull this really snug as you can, and just knit these 3 stitches. So as you're knitting them, the pipe cleaner's in the back. Just kind of keep it out of the way, just ignore it. And you're just going to knit these 3 stitches that are in front of the pipe cleaner now. So now I'm at my end of my 3, as with typical I-cord. Just slide it back to the right hand tip. So now what you want to do is you want to take your yarn and you want to bring it around all the way behind So our working yarn, can you see that, is coming from behind the pipe cleaner. In this first stitch, you always, every row, you want to pull it as snugly as you can, because that's closing up that back seam of the I-cord, and that is going to cover in your pipe cleaner. So the tighter you can pull it, the better, the cleaner, the neater the back of your candy cane is going to look. So now I've knit my first stitch, given it an extra little tug, knit my last 2 stitches, and I'm going to keep repeating this now for as long as I want my red stripe on my candy cane. I like giving all my ends a little pull this up. Now remember what we're doing? We're at the end of our needle. We're sliding it back to the right hand needle tip. Our working yarn, we're wrapping all the way up and around. So it's coming from the left hand side around behind the pipe cleaner. And we're going to knit another row. Now I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I've been knitting about 6 or 7 rows on this candy cane. You can make them as wide or as skinny as you want. I'm just going to fast forward here and show you how to join the white. So we've slid our work back to the right hand tip again. We're going to put our needle in this very first stitch, and we're just going to join like you wouldn't do a normal join. Don't worry if you want to bend this pipe cleaner out of the way. It's fine. It's not going to affect your actual finished candy cane. So just loop the yarn over your working needle and pull it through. Just like that. Now what I like to do, as with when you're doing any kind of color work, the color that's not being used, which in this case is the red, we're going to cross them over. So now just to get the red, I want to bring this red yarn back to the left hand side. So just when you're joining, the non-working color is going to come over top. Now you're going to pick up your working color, which in this case is our white, and we're going to knit the last 2 stitches, giving it an extra tug, and knit 2 stitches. Now, like we did before, we're going to slide all of our work back to the right hand tip. Our white yarn is our working yarn. Just give me a sec, I'm going to get things untangled here. Our white yarn is our working yarn, so it's coming all the way around and behind our pipe cleaner. Now our non-working color, which in this case is red, this time it crosses over the white. That's just going to keep, so we can carry our non-working color up the side so that when we need it in, say, 6 rows, it's going to be right there ready to go. And then that's going to prevent having a big long red strand following up the back of our candy cane. Just again makes the back of your candy cane a little bit neater. So now I'm going to carry on knitting with my white. Pick up my white working yarn. It gets a little easier. Right now we've got a lot of tails, but trust me, once you get past this beginning part, it's clear sailing. So the first stitch, as always with I-cord, give it that extra tug. Knit our last 2 stitches, and again we're knitting in front of the pipe cleaner. Just let it hang in the back. And we're at the end. So this is where I'm always giving the tails a tug. Can you see that snugged up, that last stitch here? Just always give them, just tighten everything up. So we're at the end. We're going to slide it back to the right hand needle tip. Our working yarn again, just bring it all the way around behind the pipe cleaner. And the non-working yarn crosses over top. So it's kind of a three steps to get yourself sorted out to start the row again. So now you're going to knit, pick up our white, pull that first stitch nice and snug, and you're just going to keep repeating this for as long as you want your candy cane. I have been using pretty much the full length of the pipe cleaner, but if you want something a little smaller, you can stop whenever you want. So again, let's review this. Think of 3 steps. We're at the end of our row. Step 1, we're going to slide it back to the right hand side. Step 2, our working yarn wraps all the way around behind the pipe cleaner. And step 3 is to carry our non-working yarn. We cross it over top and to the left of our work. And now you're good to start knitting on again. And that's all it is. You are going to just keep working away. Well, just let me slide it up until you're just going to keep repeating red, white, red, white, red, white until you're up at the end. And then you're just going to cast off. Now I have, oops, I got my finished one covered up here. I finished in red for all of mine. So if I wanted to join my red again, I would take my old color over top, pick up my new red, and if I know that this is going to be my last section of red, we don't have to carry the white up to the top anymore. We can just let it hang. If we're not going to, the only reason we're carrying the non-working color is because we're going to be working with it again. But now if we know we're ending off here with our red, we can just let the white be. Bring the red. Now see this, when we've got such a teeny tiny little bit of the pipe cleaner left, bringing the yarn around behind gets so much simpler. And then just slide it back to the right and carry on with the red. Because the white's not being used anymore, there's no need to carry it up. Now if you're like me, I'm a creature of habit, and I find I keep carrying my white up and realize I've carried it for no reason, which if you do that too, that's no problem at all. So I'm just going to do one more row here. I'm going to pretend that, say this is my 6th row of red. I'm up at the end of my pipe cleaner. I'm going to bring the yarn around behind and slide it. Now I'm going to cast off. Just do a regular cast off. So I'm going to knit 2 stitches. Whoops, I'm going to keep that guy still on my needle. And then I'm going to pick up the first stitch, up, over, and off, cast off. Oops. Knit the last stitch, up, over, and off. And then you will just cut your yarns and you will be done. Then your whole pipe cleaner will be covered. You can form it into the shape you want. And then you can always add a fancy little ribbon if you want for a little decoration, or you could put a hanging, something from the top to hang it on your tree. So there you go. That's my quick little tutorial on how to knit candy canes. I hope that you take about 10 minutes and make up a couple of your own to hang on your Christmas tree or to hand out as gifts to friends and family. Spread a little Christmas cheer. So thanks again, and tune in for next time, and we'll do some more Christmas knitting.